I will now show you how to collect data using the blog fetcher and from Wikipedia and from Facebook. So let's start first by collecting some web data about Swiss franc and euro. I will create first a new data set called Swiss franc blog 2. I will then call the web fetcher and will execute a degree of separation search. I will use the Google CSC API, which gives you 100 free queries per day, and after that you need to enter your credit card number with Google in order to run more queries, up to 10,000 or so, which normally is more than enough, which will cost you between $20 and $40 if you run that many queries. And I will search for Swiss franc. I will search for the top 20 search hits. I will also just get what was being posted on the internet within the last month. I will not collect the content because otherwise it takes a very long time. And now those are the web sites that Google gives me as the top hits among the search results on Swiss franc for the last 4 weeks. If I don't like one of them, I can kick it out, but for now I keep all of them. And now it's Google goes and constructs a degree of separation search for those search hits. Now we can visualize the results, and when we create a static view, we will see that it looks quite different from Twitter results. In the center we have the search hit, the Swiss franc query, and then we have the first degree nodes, which are the web results, and then we have the second degree nodes, which are backlinks to the search results. If we annotate them by betweener centrality, we will see how important they are. And the structure is quite regular, but it will be more interesting if we now compare Swiss franc or euro. For now, we can also look at the word cloud. So if I calculate the sentiment and I take the snippet field to calculate the sentiment, then I can look at how happy people are on blogs talking about Swiss franc, and it seems they are not that unhappy. So the bad mood that was present just a few weeks ago on Twitter seems to have gone to some extent. And if I click here on a node, I can again look at what positive, negative and neutral tweets there are, snippets there are. And there in the bank, interestingly, that still has a negative connotation. But now let's repeat the same search for euro. So I will now do a euro blog search. And I will collect the same data for euro. Google CSC, my query will be euro. And I take the top 20 search results for the last month. And no content, only the snippets. And we get those websites which we are keeping. And we construct the network. And so the first thing to do then will be to have a quick peek at the content by calculating the sentiment for the snippets and see what people are talking about. When I look at the word cloud view, it's relatively generic. The dollar comes up, the Swiss franc doesn't even show up. Now, when we combine the two, we will see which are the most influential websites, talking about euro and Swiss franc and which is the bigger search term. So I will say merge datasets. I will take my Swiss franc block query from just before and my euro block query, and I call that euro Swiss franc blocks. And now we will get a combined view. I have to open it first. And as you see here also, the time stamp is the one of when the query was executed, which also means that I have no chance here of looking at how the edits changed over time. While Google has the information of when a blog edit was made and was inserted by the crawler in the database, it is not sharing this with us through the API. And therefore, if we want to have temporal information, we have to execute repeated queries ourselves to fill our database. So for now, we just have a static picture, no movie. And now we can look at who is the bigger term. And if we color it by original dataset, we will see Swiss franc and euro. Euro seems, and now if we calculate the betweenness, we will also see which one is more central. If we now size by betweenness, euro, as was to be expected, is far more central. Why? Because it's mentioned on more influential websites. And here we have our websites. If you would like to know in more detail which are the most important websites, it's a little bit hard to see here, although we can of course change the scale a little bit and make the biggest one bigger and the smallest one smaller. Then we see that this website here stands out. So the Guardian is quite important. Talking about euro, we can look at this one. The New York Times, so it's not surprising. Those websites come out as the most central ones. Wikipedia, Twitter, so no big surprises here to who is the biggest influencer as far as currency discussions go.